questions, look at the camera and whatnot. Sorry. You know that.
I do.
We're here with Clarissa Burt from Clarissa Burt Media Group, and she's going to tell us a little bit more about what her new company does.
Thanks, Marianne. It's so great to be here at Digital Hollywood with you. And my new company is something that I'm getting started now here in the United States because I did have those 30 years in Europe when I was working on television there. And I'm here at Digital Hollywood and in this digital space because I am moving towards starting television online, which is something that I think a lot of people should be taking a look at because it is really the way of the future for those of you who don't know that. My greatest goal here at Digital Hollywood this week is to find a connection, which by the way I am finding because everybody's here, about how to get a television started online, but I'm creating a network for women globally, which is women that live in service and community and sisterhood. So it's just this whole really neat thing about how to create your website and then creates the app and then creates the community. Just so much to know and so much to learn, you know, and for us entrepreneurs that basically were, you know, small businesses, you've got to stay ahead of the learning curve all the time because things are moving so quickly. I think one of my greatest takeaways here at Digital Hollywood is, you know, an app was created, even a month ago it has basically a 2-week shelf life. Can you imagine, you know, going to all the expense of creating an app that has a 2-week shelf life because there's so much new stuff coming out and people don't have the attention span. They get bored with it and they move on to what's next. So again, being in places like Digital Hollywood, as you well know, is a great venue to be always on top of what's avant-garde and what's happening today.
So I want to ask a little bit more about this sisterhood television network globally because that sounds fascinating. Would women globally then have tools to create their own programming on your network? How would the programming process happen? Who would be editing it, if at all? Would it be sort of community edited? And then would it be scheduled programming, kind of linear programming, or on demand? What do you envision for your network?
Obviously, this is for women of every nationality and in every country, so we're opening it up to everyone. And this is obviously the community is, again, I said it's community and sisterhood of women living in service that are there for one another. And so, you know, the downline will be women that upload whatever their television station or network wants to talk about. So this is a global overview for women, and they can upload whatever they want onto our website. So it's a great place for them to get to know, get to meet, create together, learn from one another, mentor one another, and you know, these are again all women that live in some sort of community awareness or something that they feel very passionate about giving back to. So again, helping each other, get the word out and cross marketing and all that sort of thing. So, you know, I have a lot of women that I know that are in the small business space and they don't know how to get the word out onto a larger platform, and that's the platform that we create.
So, in some senses, it's like an Etsy, allowing people to take a small business and, in essence, feed their family and survive from it. But in other sense, it's more of this idea that women are great at creating communities, and if you empower them globally to create communities, you kind of make a better world.
There are a lot of things and a lot of times that I can remember as a woman, either traveling alone or being alone or living in different countries and moving around, that I really wish that I had someone that I could look for, count on, call in a time of difficulty, trouble, a flat tire, to I needed translation, to get a cup of coffee because I just wanted a new friend, or because I needed a translation, or anything that somebody I could call on at the moment and say, can you help me with this? And because we are a sisterhood, this is one of the major things that I love about women so much, is that they're always really, and women that live in service, not everyone is creative equally, but women that live in service are always so willing to help out and give back. And I found some great hearts out there. I just wanted to pull them all together. And a lot of these women have their own businesses, and so it's not only is it a personal community, but it's also with business pension as well.
So what I like about that is also kind of teaching women that they can be of service and yet create. So like doing good is good business.
Yes. My platform it's called TED, which is the Enough Network. The Enough stands for the Enveloping Network of United Females, and so underneath of that, we teach women, or I teach women, how to look good, feel good, be good, and do good. And these are the 4 major elements that are very simple that help elevate and sustain self-esteem, which is basically, if your self-esteem isn't intact by the time you get out of bed in the morning, you're going to encounter a problem during the day. If it's in a relationship with others or yourself, or in many other aspects, self-esteem has really got to be feeling good about yourself and who you are, what you stand for, and what you're all about.
And from your background of 30 plus years of media and lifestyle media and entertainment and through Europe, can you tell us a little bit more about what prompted you from all that work to then create this latest project?
The latest project really comes from, first of all and foremost, from my own problems with self-esteem as a child and as a young girl. The second thing that really prompted me to continue the work was when I started to produce the Miss Universe pageant. I lived in and worked in the modeling industry for a very, very long time and had a very successful career. Then I started to produce the Miss Universe pageant for Italy, and I found that some of the most beautiful and accomplished young girls are the ones that seem to have the most difficulty with self-esteem, which was strange. And so I wanted to bring women and young girls together to understand the diversity that is really going on behind the scenes of what how the grass always looks greener on the other side, and how the varsity girl, and how the cheerleaders, and how the pretty girls, and how the ones that all the jocks are running after may not have always had the perfect life. And so I remember I went to high school with a young girl who was my best friend through high school, and we got together for our 30th year reunion, and I never knew when I was going to school with her that she was being abused by her father, because these were the things you didn't talk about back in the day. These were the things you didn't know, but she was one of the most beautiful and intelligent girls out there. So obviously these issues have created difficulties for her in her life, and it reflects on you and the person that you are. I try to help to create the community, and I try to help to create the tools that help young girls and women come together, work together, mentor together, and live a greater good.
Yeah, I can't agree more. I'm on the board of directors of C3, which is the Center for Conscious Creativity, and we work with about 3,000 futurists to tell stories about how to solve 15 global challenges, one of them being equality for women. And I think the equality is not really necessarily just at the level of, am I getting paid as much as someone else who is male in my industry? But I think equality starts at the point of, like, can we say that there will be no more abortions for women globally? What can we do to change that within our lifetime?
Well, this is again what prompts me, and what keeps my motor running is coming from an abusive background, and watching my mother be abused and the children be abused. And so this was obviously, look, I'm not creating anything new. There are everyone has their stories, and a lot of them are a heck of a lot worse than mine, don't get me wrong, but abuse is abuse, and violence is violence. And I'm doing my part in this world to make it a better place, and to help the abusers get help, and for the abused mostly, to have a safe haven, a place to go, a place to find like-minded women. In some way, shape, or form, everybody's been abused. I just like I like that common ground when we start to talk about it, between it, whatever it was in our lives, how all of it, the curtains fall, and all of the facade falls away, and we just become real. And that's the part that I love about it the most, And so, I'm just so excited about this whole thing and what I'm creating. I can't wait to come back and tell you next year how far we've come in this last year.
I can't wait, and our viewers can't wait either. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
That was really great.
Great.
I had goosebumps.